We'll start up with a special session for the discussion regarding our insurance policy for Burlington Electric Department. And first up on the agenda, I believe, is the agenda itself. We only have one agenda item, which is this. And the next thing we have on the agenda is the public forum. If there's anyone who has logged in from the public, Lori, perhaps you could let us know.
No, there is no one from the public.
Okay, so we'll move on to the insurance update. Paul Alexander, thanks for sending out all the advanced materials. If you want to give an overview and update.
I will do that. Thank you. I'm going to try to share my screen. I have become technically advanced since last time. With a single monitor, if I share my screen, I'll see each of you as you speak, but I won't be able to see myself, but that doesn't matter. So let's try this out and see if it works. Let's see. Can you see my screen? It has the pie chart, if you will.
Nope.
Not yet.
Okay. Maybe we won't try that. How about now?
We see the Excel spreadsheet. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's going to have to work. So I apologize. I won't see you, but I'll field your questions as they come up. I've only got 2 slides. That's the good news. So this is really, there's only been 2 changes, both I would call positive since we last met. And one of them, if you can see my cursor here, is that we have placed the entire coverage, and this is the final premium. And before, you'll see we have 4 carriers, 4 different carriers writing this one line of insurance: Zurich, StarTech, AIG, and Aegis. And what we didn't have just 2 weeks ago, even less than that, was that AIG was balking at, they did not want to write 30% of both. This side of the column is the McNeil assets, and this side is the non-McNeil, which means the gas turbine, the Winooski Wind Hydro, and all of Pine Street. So of course, the McNeil one is the one that has caused our underwriters angst and what took us a while to place this business. But so really through a lot of work through Paul Plunkett, Hickok, and Boardman, AIG stuck to their 25% on both sides of the coin, but Zurich stepped up to the plate, and instead of having 20%, they are now writing 25% of McNeil. And on the other side of the coin, Aegis, which used to have 70%, now has 75%. So that's the first good news, that the entire book of business, if you will, is now covered. Again, with the caveat, we are capped at this $175 million total insurable value, and that just means the amount of property that's on the book. So that's from papers to turbines to you name it. So that's a really good change, and really thanks to Hickok and Boardman, all their work. So we now have 100% capacity, if you will, covered up to our cap. So that's really one slide before I move on to the second and last slide. Any questions on that from any of you? No. And the second, I guess, good news is that the premium is still a large amount. Last time we were looking at probably 659,000. It came in at 644,000. So we saved, and again, given the number is still significant, came down by 15,000, a little bit reduction from the carriers, and there was an $8,000 engineering inspection fee that AIG was going to charge us, and sort of double charge us because Zurich said if they're covering 25%, they wanted to be the one that engineered that out, and so AIG said yes. So not only do we have now the 100% coverage, you had a reduction down in premium to 644. So the only other slide that I wanted to show you, and Scott, this was driven, you probably didn't see at the end, the close of our last meeting, I, in the chat room, answered your question about the joint owners. But can you see that if I blow that up enough?
Yep. Yeah, I can now. Yep.
So, and again, this is it. All our lines of insurance get split on a basis between McNeil and Pine Street. And I update those every year in January at the time of the budget. And they're not just pulled out of the air. In this case, this one is very exact. This is based on our property value. So McNeil had 71.5%, Pine Street 28.5%, and that's how that gets split. Obviously, the joint owners make up 50% of McNeil, so they'll get half of this 71.5, which is obviously 35.75, and then the remaining amount gets charged to the 50% of McNeil and the rest of Pine, the 64. So that's how this total premium, which came in over here in the yellow at 644, 528.50, gets split between the joint owners. So the joint owners will end up being charged 230,000 and change, and then the rest will get hit for BD, the 414. That makes up the 644.
Okay, and Paul, Pine Street means Pine Street plus Winooski 1 and so on, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's right. That's right, Bob. McNeil is all on its own, and then what the BED, the Pine, is the Winooski Wind Hydro and the GT gas turbine. Everything but McNeil. That's right, Bob. So that's really it. Two changes, both in the positive sense, and this is still a little technical about insurance if you read the small print, but it's still the policy will still go from November 20th to November 20th. We know we have to wait till your approval tonight, as well as Board of Finance and City Council. That's concurrent. All goes well. There'll be no lapse in coverage. They're binding the policy with the caveat that it gets approved on the 23rd, and then the policy will still go from 11/20 to 11/20.
Okay, let me just check. So our BEDs or Burlington's part of the bill is $414K. So that's really what City Council is going to approve. Is that right?
No, they'll approve the whole thing, the 644. Yeah, because we are charged by the 1984 agreement. You've probably seen it many times. BED Pine Street, we are charged with overseeing the insurance of that plant. Is one of the many things we're charging. So that they're going to approve the entire amount. I've already sent it off as a draft to the joint owners, just for a heads up. But until it's final. And then at their next meeting, we don't even need their approval, but we always run it by them and show them what's coming. Obviously, it's a big amount. They saw it last year, and I go down there to the joint owners meeting to meet them in person. Now it might be virtual, but to explain it and answer any of their questions.
Okay, thanks.
And how did that number jive again? Because I don't have it in front of me here. Between that number and what you had budgeted. For our
great question. Yep. Great question. So the budgeted amount, and again, remember the budget amount is made up of 4 or 5 months of the current rate and then the estimated rate because the budgets are done in January. So it's percentage-wise, it is a 14.97% increase over our fiscal year 21 total budget, what I had in there, 14%. And then compared to the premium amount, it's a little bit less, 11.25%. And even though it's a big number, that's well in the range. Like I said, I read this stuff every day. And it's not uncommon to see these percentages are, Hickok Board to put it in the cover letter. You'll see that anywhere from 20 to 200%. It's just last year was significant. This year is significant. And we're hoping for better things next year. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else, or I'll unshare my screen here and come back and see you.
Oh, are there any reasons to have that hope? Or is it more likely that this will be ongoing? I know I asked you this last meeting, but it seems like generally, as we had discussed last meeting, there was hesitation from insurers regarding biomass.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's hard to look into a crystal ball and see what the market's going to be like, a year from now. But on the positive side, because we have seen two significant years back to back of increases that feel like we paid the piper, if you will, and we had these engineering recommendations that have been out there for a while. Some of them just way beyond our means of doing, and putting a conveyor wood fire suppressant system on outside. The engineers can recommend that, but that's not really smart here in the Northeast. But so we have ticked off, Manier and Company and David and Paul worked very hard, and with Darren's support in the budget to try to knock these off. So we had like 21 items last year. We're down to 11 or 12. So when and if we can complete all those, that's where Paul Plunk has made it clear that we might, and I say that in quotes, see something back. We'll never see the 200 range again, probably not in my lifetime, but get it down to something more reasonable, meaning 400 to 450,000. So Gabrielle, to answer your question specifically, when we can wrap these things up and it's not based on our loss experience, we might be able to get down something where next year I'm sitting in front of you and seeing a $200,000 reduction. I can't promise that. We can just hope, but those are some of the things we're working on. In addition to outside of this line of business, some of the things I spelled out in that memo, as you recall, teaming up with the city and or breaking away on some lines, combining policies. We're not going to do that right off, but just something that probably in the next 6 to 9 months, Hickok Board will be looking into some places to save money elsewhere if we can't save it on this line.
Great, thank you. And good work to the team for checking off so many of those engineering upgrades. What's the sense of timeline for the remaining upgrades, with the exception of the one that doesn't make sense for the Northeast?
Yeah, if David's still online, he can probably speak to that better, but some of them are already in the budget. Some of them we had a significant, we're not blaming on COVID, but we couldn't get some contractors in here. A large amount bid that went out to 140 contractors. We got one bid back. So there's some reluctance, not just to come into BED, but just in general to come on site and or whatever things are going on in their respective companies. So a significant slowdown, I think, because that we would have wrapped up, I think, a lot more of those.
Great. Other questions from the commission? If the commission is ready, could someone make a motion?
This is Bob. I move that we vote to forward this insurance budget to the city council for decision.
And a second.
Second.
And
Commissioner Shagnon? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Shagnon?
Aye.
Commissioner Herendeen?
Aye.
Commissioner Modi?
Aye.
Commissioner Stebbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitaker?
Aye.
Thank you.
So thank you, Paul. I know this has been very long and drawn out, so I appreciate your work, and thanks everybody for joining the special meeting as well.
Thank you for all coming on again, and thank you for your approval.
Thank Paul Plunkett for all his hard work. I'm sure he had to schmooze a bunch of people.
I will. And I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
It is kind of the job, but all right. So can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Shagnon?
Aye.
Commissioner Herendeen?
Aye.
Commissioner Modi?
Aye.
Commissioner Stebbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitaker?
Aye.
Thank you. We adjourn at 5:21.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one,
Thank
folks.
you.
Be well,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Yep.